You ever sit in a room where you can feel every single eye land on you, but you just got to keep your head up anyway? That's exactly what it felt like that day. One minute, I was a proud dad, sitting in the back, soaking it all in the next. I'm hearing, sir, you need to leave now, right in the middle of my own son's graduation. I swear, the words hit sharper than a knife, not just because of the volume, but because of the weight behind them. You know what I mean? All those years in uniform, 2 decades of busting my back for this country, missing birthdays and Christmases and backyard barbecues, coming home with scars nobody ever sees, and somehow, after all that, I was still the guy folks thought didn't belong. That's what stings the most, not the stares, not the cold shoulders, but the assumption, right there in the open, that you're not really one of them. But let me back up a sec. My name's Marcus Carter, yeah. That Marcus Carter, the one who used to patch up Humvees in Afghanistan, who spent nights watching desert stars because sleep was just a rumor. My boy Jason, he's the reason I was there that morning. His whole life, he wanted to join the Navy. He'd worked like hell for those stripes. That morning, seeing him in that dress uniform, I felt, I don't know, bigger than myself. Like maybe, just maybe I did something right. So I took my seat early, sat quiet, told myself today wasn't about me. Ignore the way people shifted when I walked by. Old habit. But those two guards? They didn't ignore me. They marched straight up, uniforms starched, faces locked, and I could tell by their posture, this wasn't some polite, excuse me, sir, routine. The taller one, let's call him Officer Jenkins for the sake of the story, he reached out, almost grabbed my arm. And that's when something in me snapped. All those years of swallowing it down, just for a seat at the table. And now today, they're telling me to leave? Now my boy's up there about to get his diploma. I kept my voice even, didn't raise it, just looked him dead in the eye and said, touch me and you'll regret it. Now, maybe that wasn't the wisest thing, but it was the truest. Suddenly, the room went still. I mean dead still, like a switch flipped. You could hear the blood rush in your ears. I saw Jason, my son, tense up like he was ready to come running, but didn't want to make a scene. That's when something wild happened. In the back row, four men stood up, all at once, clean cuts, military bearing you could spot a mile away. They didn't say a word at first, just stared those guards down. If you've never seen a group of Navy SEALs move as one, let me tell you, there's a kind of gravity to it. The kind that makes even grown men think twice. Officer Jenkins hesitated. I could see the gears turning. He reached for his radio, probably calling for backup, maybe thinking he could muscle through this. But the tallest SEAL, a man with a voice like gravel and thunder, just leaned in and said, you really want to do this? Sergeant Carter's got more combat hours than anyone in this room. And just like that, the power shifted. Now here's the twist. Just when you thought it was a standoff, my son Jason steps forward. He's got that fire in his eyes, the one I used to see in the mirror, back before life tried to grind it out of me. He didn't shout, didn't plead. He just stood there, proud and tall, and said, he's my father. That was it. You could feel the crowd catch their breath. Some people started whispering, some in support, some in shock. But it wasn't over. From the side aisle, the base commander, a man I'd never met, but whose reputation carried, stormed in, his face a storm cloud. I thought for a split second maybe he was going to have me dragged out himself. Instead, he looked straight at those guards, voice clipped and cold. Stand down. The guards stiffened, eyes darting, like maybe they'd miscalculated how much trouble they just bought themselves. The commander then turned to me, held out his hand. Sergeant Carter, my apologies. Your son's ceremony won't start without you. Applause rippled through the hall, but I just stared at his hand. You know, a handshake can fix a lot, but it can't fix everything. Because the humiliation that didn't wash off so easy. I looked at Jason. For a second, neither of us knew what to do. Then, right in front of everyone, Jason snapped to attention and saluted me first. No hesitation, no sham. Like he was reclaiming something for both of us. For a heartbeat, the whole room just paused. The SEALs straightened up, the commander's face softened, and even the guards seemed to shrink into themselves. That salute wasn't just a protocol thing, it was a statement. That we belonged, that no one was about to erase us, not today. After that, the ceremony went on. I sat front and center. No one dared say another word. The guards faded into the background. Jason got his diploma, and those 4 SEALs stood right by his side. In that moment, you could feel the shift like some old weight in the room had finally cracked. But let me say this, the real battles, the ones that leave marks you can't see, they're not always fought on a battlefield. Sometimes they're fought in gymnasiums, on graduation stages, in moments where you're forced to prove you belong in a place you already earned. And it's loyalty, not rank or medals, that decides who stands with you when it counts. So here's the part one can't shake. Even now, did it really take 4 SEALs and a public standoff for people to see my son and me as more than just outsiders? Or is this just another story folks will retell for a week, then forget? You tell me, is respect something you earn, or something they give you only when it's convenient? If this story hit home for you, don't just scroll by. Drop a comment, tell me what you think about respect, loyalty, and where you draw the line in your own life. Would you have stood up or sat back? Let's hear it.